Hey, what's happening, guys? You've been asking me for a while to design my own kits. So we're going to do two kits to start out with. This is the very basic kit, and then we're going to have an advanced kit as well. So for the basic kit, well, let's go over to the computer and I'll show you real quick. All right, here's the circuit, and it's pretty simple. We have a header here to bring in our 5 volts. Over here we have a 5-5 timer that is going to act as our clock. There are our 2 timing resistors and our timing capacitor. The output is going to the clock pin of a CD4017, and it will in turn light sequentially those LEDs. That's really all there is to it. Let's go put it together. What do you say? Today's video is brought to you by PCBWay.com. This is their 7th year in the PCBWay manufacturing business, and they are China's premier PCB board house. Check them out for all your needs. All right, so this is super simple. It's your basic chaser circuit. So we're going to use 3mm LEDs. I have a bunch of different ones on hand. You're going to need well, you're not going to need any of this. They're all going to be included in the kit. There'll be a 4017, 555 timer. Now I am going to use sockets for the ICs here, but you're not going to get sockets in the kit. I'm just doing it because this is the first one I put together, and I want to make sure that everything is working as it should. So we've got our 555 one first, and I am totally out of 8-pin sockets, so I had to take a larger one and bite its head off, so to speak. We'll get that in there. Then we have the one for the 4017, which thankfully I did have on hand. That would have stunk if I didn't. So we'll take these down. And we'll get them soldered in. All right. Got my tip all nice and clean. Put a little solder on there for thermal transfer. I'll do up one pin. Then what I want to do is hold up on it. My finger underneath the board there. And I'm going to solder the opposite corner. And that should lock them in pretty flat. After that, it's just a matter of soldering them up. Nothing too hard here. And I chose these components because they're through hole, they're dip packages, and they should be relatively easy for a beginner to solder. Again, I'm holding that one up into the board with my finger from underneath, and good. Now we can just come through here, do a little bit of this. Not even picking the soldering iron up, just sliding it from one pin to the next. Clean my iron. Again, a little solder for thermal transfer. And we hit it again. If you're like me, soldering can be very therapeutic. Well, anything that, you know, takes all your attention, so you're not worrying about the other things going on in life, is very therapeutic. It basically just takes your mind off things. Yep, those look good. All right. So next, let's get that little 1 microfarad electrolytic cap in there. Whoops, bumped it. Now this 1 microfarad cap is the primary timing component for how fast these LEDs are going to flash on and off. So you could easily change that to a different value to make them flash faster or slower. This is the tightest footprint in the whole thing, so be very careful that you don't short those 2 pins together and end up with a solder bridge. Next, we'll put in this cap, which is a 0.01, and that's for your control voltage pin, which is not used in this case. We'll be using a little multi-layer ceramic cap there. Should work out pretty well. My soldering iron a little clean, a little tin. Then again, I'm holding that up with 1 finger underneath the board. And there we go. And that pin didn't solder. There we go. That time it did. All right, let's move on to our resistors. All right, we'll start with the 2 10K resistors. And so as not to upset Barry too much, we'll put them in the same orientation. A little bend. Clean our soldering iron. Little dab will do you for your thermal transfer. Going to solder 1 side of each. Then once again, want to make sure they're seated properly in the board. Then we can come back, do the other side. Now these are also part of the timing circuit for the 555 timer, but they will have less effect on the timing than the capacitor. But if you build this kit and you don't like the timing, you can definitely change it. Our last resistor is the current limiting resistor for our LEDs. 330 ohm. In this case it is 390 because I am out of 330s, but it will be just fine. You could go as low as 220 or as high as 1K if you don't want these to be very bright. Kind of like me, not very bright. Get over there. Okay, so now we are on to our LEDs, our 3mm LEDs. Give me just a moment. I'm going to test them out, make sure they're okay, because you just never know. A good way to test LEDs is with a mostly used 2032 or 2025, button cell. Put the long leg on the plus mark, short leg on the other side, and as you can see, they're good. 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 Uh-oh. Is that one not good? Yep, see, that's a bad one. And that's why I do this. All right, I got these little red ones here. Just want to make sure I put them in the correct way. And you guys will not be getting this type of weird LED. They have a little shoulder on them there. It can be a pain in the butt. I'll throw in one of these. Trying to get a decent spread here. You know what, I'm wondering if those footprints will take a 5mm. Because if they will, I think I might just switch. Let's find out. Yeah, they will. So we're going to swap over to 5mm. Hang on. This is what can go on when you're designing your kit. Decide to make changes, things don't go as... it's not they didn't go as I'd hoped. It's just, I think this is a better option. So I'm going to test every LED that I put in. And hopefully they all work. That way, when the kit is complete, if there's a problem, I won't be left wondering if it's a bad LED, because I've tested everyone going in. All right. Let's figure out how we're going to do this. Can always be fun, right? I think what we'll do is we'll solder one leg. On each of these guys. There we go. Then once I'm satisfied that they're in the proper position, sitting nice and flat, well, then I can flip it over and get the other leg without any trouble. And of course there's, many ways to do this. All right, I added the second ones in, and now we're down to the last two. So there's a good red. And we need a good green. Good. These ones I'm just going to bend a little so they don't fall out when I try and solder them in here. Clean my iron a little. Make sure these are sitting flush. And we'll make our last solder connections here. Make sure my joints look good. Cut off the excess. And then we'll put in our ICs. We'll use this beautiful pin straightener that was made for me by Larry. Line up the notch in the chip, the notch in the socket. Need to squeeze them just a little more. Make sure they're all in there. Yes, sirree. And we need a 555. That's not the box with the 555s in it, Paul. Which I just dropped on the floor. Thank goodness I locked it up beforehand. 555s? Yay, 555s. Put it in Larry's magic pin straightener. Notch goes up. and solder the power wires on. One moment, please. Alright, it is big reveal time. I've got the power supply set for 5 volts at 200 milliamps. Hook her up. Say a prayer to the Almighty. And what do we get? Hey, how about that? Sometimes I actually think I know what I'm doing. And then it's proved over and over that I really don't. Making sure they're all flashing, which they are. Good. Now, as you can see here, I'm going to leave the power up to you. You know, you could put a USB on here, power it via USB. And I've also included a couple holes here so you could put a pin on, wear it like a badge, or however you see fit. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And these kits are going to be available. Right now there are only 4, but more are coming. They are $10 including shipping in the US only. I can't ship these out of the country just yet. But if you're in the US and you want one of these, they're $10. Send me an email, arduino0169@gmail.com. You can PayPal me and I'll get a kit out to you right quick. Big thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this. Big thanks to you for watching it. That's it. I'm out. Peace.